10 years down the line, when I look back, I should still be proud of what I said and how I landed that joke. So that's what I want. So it doesn't matter if I don't have like crazy following on social media, because I have realized that everything is so shaky, right? And that's also one of the things that I've learned in radio from people. Like, what are the things that you shouldn't do is to take your success too seriously. I mean, what is success anyway?
For people who don't know who that was, that's Sonu Venugopal, who is a radio jockey and a stand-up comic. She specializes in the art of Uttar Karnataka or Uttar Kannada jokes. This episode is a super fun one where we talk about the fear of failures, the power of sulking, and how mediocrity is the actual true enemy. She's such a powerhouse, and you can truly feel her personality seeping through the mic or the screen. I'm sure this episode is something that will get you thinking and is something you're truly going to enjoy. If you are going to enjoy it, then why am I still ranting on, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. This is episode 26 with Sonu Venugopal.
Radio has trained me not to swear when I see a mic.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise I do. But now that I have a baby, I'm slightly conscious because I don't want my baby's first word to be something that I won't be... Like, I would be probably proud of it. Maybe, but I don't... It doesn't come naturally to me because, I mean, that's what radio does to you, right? You can't, really swear.
Right.
And that has kind of, continued in my stand-up as well. I'm not very comfortable swearing.
Right.
And it doesn't come naturally to me. And when it doesn't come naturally to you, people find out.
Right. Yeah, when you're trying to put it on.
Put
right?
it on, no?
Right.
So maybe someday I'll be cool enough to swear. Now is not the time.
When you and your baby go around swearing together.
Oh God, that'll be... See, that's my dream, yeah. That's my dream.
Oh, man. But now that it's out there, she'll probably come there one day and let's go, mama.
No,
let's go.
but then I feel, no, I'm scared actually.
Okay.
Because I from what I know, 7 months, she's 7 months old, and I just feel that she's going to be so, out there that I don't have to be worried. Because, kids have their way of getting things done without being annoying and without being I don't know how they do that. It's so difficult. I know. I mean, if she wants something, she gets it.
Yeah.
And she's not even cranky, but she gets it.
Right.
You know, so that's...
And you're able to say all this with her just being 7 months old?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
No, really. Because, she knows when she wants to be picked up.
Right.
She knows when she has to be let go.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I mean, it just makes things easy for
Such
you.
an independent baby. I like this. Yeah.
I'm I always keep saying this, such an independent baby. She is actually. Touch wood. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the best place to get started is us talking about something that's common to both of us, which is not common to us anymore, which is engineering. Okay. And
Can I just not talk about it? Because see, everybody has that phase in life that you don't want to talk about. It is this. Okay? Because, see, I went with lots of hopes, okay? I thought...
What were those hopes?
To do MS and then probably PhD or kuch to that. No, everybody is doing I'll also do sort of a thing. But then after first year, it got boring for me. It was not very exciting. And then just the question paper, it used to be what is this? Why am I stating a theorem? Hence proved. Why am I doing this sort of a thing?
Right.
But then it got over in 4 years. Thank God.
Was it a bit of a struggle when you were in the college though?
No, in the sense, that was the phase when I did not like people. Yeah.
Let's put it at that.
That's it. Like, I didn't want to interact with anyone. I wouldn't say it was like the worst period or anything. I was a very different person.
Right.
And I myself did not like how I was back
Okay.
then. Like,
Okay.
not at all social, not like the sight of people was like, "Oh, I don't want to meet you guys." And like,
Is it your career that's gotten you to the person you are today?
No.
It's
This is how I was.
Okay.
This is how I was. This is how I've always been.
Okay.
But when I joined engineering, so there was too much of conflict in the head. Like whether I want to do this or not. I'm not enjoying
Right
doing
from the
this.
get-go?
First year was fine. That excitement of being in college
also-
and wearing whatever you want to wear.
Yeah.
Because I was in KV where our uniform was salwar kameez, na. So this was nice. But then it got very weird for me. Like I couldn't wait to get out of the campus, and like it was not something, I don't know what I learned, but then for sure I became very sure that I don't want to do something that does not make me happy.
Right.
Yeah. So that I was very sure of. So that was a learning. And when I passed out of college, I was like, I will not do something that I will not be happy doing.
Right.
Money, whatever, success and all is later. But then I want to be happy. I want to be the person I am. I don't want the workplace or the people around me to change who I am. Which is why I was like, I'm going to take a year, break to really figure out what I want to do. And then we will see how it goes.
This year break is something, if the world does, right,
Yeah,
around.
but then it was not really a break for me.
Yeah. No, but you were open to doing that too, right? I mean,
Yeah. But then that time, that much buddhi I didn't have that I want to travel or something.
Right.
Like I didn't want to say, Papa, I want to go to Greece. No, that was not the agenda.
Please sit here and...
No, it didn't even come to my mind.
Right.
Because this whole soul-searching thing was not the plan, to be very honest. I just wanted to know what makes me happy.
Right.
And maybe give me some money also to to stay afloat.
Right.
That's it. I did not have that pressure to be, I want to be independent. I want to stop taking money from my parents. I didn't have that pressure. I'm like, even if I take...
So what? Yeah.
So what? I mean, it's not that it's going to be forever.
Right.
Maybe the process might take slightly longer, but then let's just figure it out. So I was the happiest when engineering got over. Okay.
Right. And what is the support and system with your parents though? Were they
So
open?
they were not like, now find a job, now do this or anything. It was like, okay, you have finished. Okay, like see what you want to do, because I told them like this is not something that's keeping me happy. Maybe they also saw that something had changed.
Yeah, didn't seem fulfilled or happy as such.
Yeah. So they were like, find out whatever you want to do is it's fine by us. So I say randomly, I was like, see, that is the age when you feel like I will change the world. No, like you will feel I will do this, I will do that.
Yeah. In your teens, you're like, I'm going to be an astronaut, or I'm going to do all these crazy things. Then when you get to that 20s, you're like, I'm going to change the world. My life's not going to be like my neighbors.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I was like, I'm going to do something different. I will probably look for something that, I mean, it's so clueless, right? I'm like NGOs in Bangalore. I searched that, okay? And then Parikrama.
Why NGOs though?
Because back then I had worked with SPCA,
Okay.
For animal welfare and all. And then I realized that it made me happy. Something that where engineering degree, not having it or having it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
What kind of work would you want to do, right? That's the thing. Like, I can't go and flaunt in front of NGOs like I have engineering, especially the NGO that I worked for, which was Parikrama.
Right.
Like, they wouldn't care if you're an engineer, right? So I was like, let us find a neutral place where the degree will not matter.
Right.
So I was like, okay, fine. And then nicely I searched, which is near my house. Because
spoken and thought like a true Bangalorean.
So I don't want to travel so much also. So which is near my house. I saw. And Parikrama. I'm like, wow, Parikrama. Okay, cool. And then I read about them and these are the things they do. And I was like, wow, so cool.
Right.
Like they're teaching. They're teaching people from underprivileged backgrounds and it'll be nice.
Right.
And I can definitely teach. I mean, like
Yeah.
till 10th standard, so my basics are pretty okay.
Yeah.
So I can do it. And then I called them up and like, I've passed out of my engineering college. I'm looking for a job. And I don't know. She's like, yeah, come.
Now only.
Now only you come. So I went. And then they gave me one essay to write. You know, where you say, I don't even remember what essay that was, but I remember faffing. Okay.
Of course, we all have faffed in our first
okay,
job.
Like
right?
majorly I faffed. Okay, like some quotes and all I quoted. I started the essay with one quote or something. I remember vaguely. And then she wrote, and then she actually read that in front of me. You know, and she was a senior person, and she was like, wow, so poetic and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is working. And then she said, we will give you a call in one day.
Right.
And they were like, okay. I was like, okay, fine. And then next day they called and they said, yeah, you can join us, but not in Sahakar Nagar. I'm like, what? No.
What is all this faffing for?
Yeah, you have to go to Nandini Layout. I'm like, where is this Nandini Layout now? Where will I go? Then I Google. I'm like, it's not so far also, but still I have to take bus.
Right.
Okay, and they're like, you'll have to teach 5th standard and 6th standard kids. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
great, let's do this. And then I realized how difficult it is to teach kids because they had their own things and they used to be, they're not even, they don't even want to be distracted. They're like naturally distracted like all the time. And then seeing me like out of college wearing these whatever like, you know, round neck t-shirts and floaters, and who will take me seriously? Who will take me seriously? You tell me. And they were like, Akka has come. So this is a very nice thing. They call Akka to everyone. Okay, so Akka has come or whatever. And then I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is very difficult.
Yeah.
This is so difficult. A class of 50, 40 kids.
Right. It's that's when you have respect, immense respect for your teachers.
Also,
right?
not just that, I got the biggest lesson there because those were the kids with really underprivileged backgrounds. You know, either the father was alcoholic, used to beat up the mother. It was very difficult for them. I mean,
And did you have to know all those things too?
no, in the sense, so there was a person who knew all this. You know,
Right,
it's
a
amazing
counselor.
how that
Yeah,
organization works. You know, they have a person who goes on rounds to each and every home of.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing how they work. It's amazing, and for me, the biggest learning was they are so happy. They are so happy, you know, irrespective of what happens in their life, they are so happy and they're so cheerful all the time. And then I figured out one trick also. I'm like, you know, if you behave nicely in the week, I'm going to show you a movie at the end of the week. There was a projector room.
Yeah.
So I showed them all kinds of animated films and, you know, Lion King.
Did it work? Did they
Yes.
behave?
Oh, yes. And I think those senior teachers were not very happy about this.
And then
bribe.
eventually they got to doing it as well.
No, they didn't. But I really thought that this was a nice thing to do because, you know, what else can you do? Right? You know, I had to find out a way for them to be attentive during the week so that on that Saturday, that morning, they look forward to something like that.
And it's a small action.
It's a very small
right? And it's
thing.
a
And
big
I'm not
thing
even
for them.
like, I'm not making them watch something that they shouldn't probably, you know.
Did you though, Sonu?
No.
No.
Because I love animated films, you know. For me, it was one chance to watch it again.
Right,
you know, so I liked them watching, and they used to sometimes, you know, when they watched Hachiko and they cried and all.
Hachiko.
So it was really nice because it was emotional. It was.
There was a
we
lesson
bonded.
also
We
behind it.
bonded because
Yeah.
we discussed about the film, and then they noticed some things that I wouldn't. So it was a great experience for me.
Right.
And I was getting paid like 9,000 a month, which was like so much money. What do we do now? Itna paisa ka kya karenge? So it was like that, and I was very happy. But while I was going, I used to listen to radio all the time.
Right.
What to do? I mean, you're in the bus, and
Yeah.
how do you get entertained? And that time Fever had turned Hindi, and I was very happy because of my KV background. I'm more drawn towards Hindi and Bollywood and things like that. So I heard this joke and I was like, nice. This is so nice. And I used to go every day and tell my mother, you know, she said this. And my mother's like, you can also do that. I'm like,
How?
What is this? What is this new confidence in me? So my mother is like, she, at the same time, she will underestimate me and overestimate me. Like both. Okay. So now suddenly she said, you can do. I'm like, how can I do this? And that was the time. I mean, I loved radio in school also.
Right.
But then I kind of I stopped listening to it because travel time was less or whatever.
I think there was a boom also back then, right? About 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. And then when I started, I really enjoyed. Like, I was like, I want to be this person. I want to be on air.
On air, not even part of radio,
No,
but
I
on
wanted
air.
to be on air. But that confidence to tell that to others came much later. This was for me. Like, I want to be on air.
Look
But
in the mirror and say, I will be on air. I am
not
on
this-
air.
No, I'm not so confident also.
Not even.
No. I'm very, I can't do it. It's very difficult for me. So I'm like, okay, like we will try and be on air. Okay, like that. But I want to be on air, kind of a thing. But then one random letter I wrote, like I have done so many random things in life, no? So I wrote this mail saying, like, I'm very much interested in being a part of your radio station. Let me know. I mean, no guts to ask for job and all. Like, call me or whatever. And then they did. They did. Okay. And then this was in January. They called me in January. I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of the academic year. I'll come in April.
Right.
By the time I approached them in April, the person who said you come was gone.
Damn.
To other radio stations.
Right.
I'm like, array, now what do we do? Then, because there are no promises, no? Like,
Right.
if just because he had made that commitment, the new boss doesn't.
One big shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was like, try no, like, give me internship. They were like, okay, fine.
Internship.
Yeah. You come.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
Wow.
And then what happened was, I told at Parikram also that I might be interested in doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And they very politely fired me. Because...
I thought there was going to be like support and all of that.
No.
Please, like...
No, but it's fair enough.
Yeah, of course.
Like where will I have... That was in Marthali. This was in... How... It was practically impossible to do it. Right. So they were like, we are very excited that you want to do this. So yeah, bye. I mean, but they did it very politely.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize that I was fired. That it was that sweet. They were like, okay, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
You pursue
Yeah,
your dream.
please. You enjoy, no? Go.
You enjoy. So that's how it happened.
Wow. So
That's how it
crazy.
happened. Yeah.
No, I think this engineering life bit, right? If you think about it, you started right from the get-go. As soon as you graduated, you did nothing in engineering. And it's like you said, it's because...
I changed 3 light bulbs, if that counts.
No, it doesn't.
Then, no.
I mean, unless you like looked at the filament and then tried to make a new light.
Please.
Okay.
I just changed it.
Did you do electric?
Yes. Also VTO, no? So we don't look at the filament. We just change the bulb. That's all.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So relatable. But yeah, I think a lot of people have this mentality that once you've joined the course, right? Once you signed up, you basically have to stick through with it till the end. In the sense, you graduate, you have to get a job, they kind of pay back, get that, kind of get a salary
No,
at
but
that
that
level.
is changing, no?
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, right? I think we can find those kind of like-minded people too. But there's obviously the other crowd as well, right?
Yeah.
And we might have seen more of that back then.
Yeah.
And I think the pressure was... It was social pressure because when a group decides to do that, that kind of sets the precedent and that becomes the norm.
Yeah.
It becomes a big challenge to, for people like you to kind of think, I don't think I should be doing this, right? And it's not such an easy decision to make.
It is not. But then you have, like, I never cared for people.
Yeah.
I think I care for them more now,
Correct.
to be very honest.
That makes sense because now you're at a very different stage, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. And
but back then I did not care. I
Right.
did not care. See, I wanted to make something out of my life. Like, so I'll tell you what. My school, college life, it was like, oh, she's going to do well, kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Then things didn't work according to my plan.
And that is from parents and teachers and all that, or friends as well?
Everyone.
Okay.
And then suddenly things didn't go according to the plan. And then they're like, iska to matlab...
Yeah.
But I didn't see that happening. But then I only I was like, arey, what did I do? Like...
Shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have done this sort of a thing. Honestly, we always say my parents didn't do this, but it's not true. Yeah, it's you who are responsible for most of the things that you do. I mean, I understand there are extreme conditions where
situations and circumstances.
but especially growing up in a metro. Like, you have your freedom to do whatever you want. So my parents have been very supportive, to be very honest. And at some point in time, you have to be like, I don't care. I don't care of what you think. I don't care, if you think that I wasted my 4 years doing engineering. If I had to do this, I really don't care what you think. But I want to make something out of my life, which I will be proud of later.
Might take time, but yeah.
It'll take time. It might not happen also.
Right.
It might not happen also, but let me try.
That's a very important point. Yeah. A lot of people think it's like once I put in the effort, it'll definitely happen. But there's so many things, the circumstances, luck, and everything has to align,
so many
right?
things. And also like, unfortunately, it's always how good are you with respect to other people, right?
It's a relative thing.
It's always like that. I mean, we all say we don't want to be part of the rat race, but we are part of the rat race.
Correct.
Right? I mean, there is always a comparison. I mean, you ask someone out there, who's your favorite Ajay? I like her more than this person. Correct? That's how it is, no?
True.
That is how it is, no? So let us accept it. But then I wanted to redeem myself in my own eyes, if I can say so. Like, I was not happy with what I did, so this was my chance.
It's never too late.
Yeah,
And just
never too late. I mean, good that realization happened immediately after. So I did not spend time working in an IT firm, and then I didn't want to waste time.
Correct. And you see, there are because of the social or peer pressure, right? You see people who, let's say, for instance, they were in electrical or electronic or whatever, right? And they realize that no company's coming to the college. What do I do now? I have to get into the regular IT tech side and then somehow grow there because everyone else is doing it. My auntie's going to ask me what job, how much are you getting paid? Where's your car? All that bullshit. And then once you graduate and you're part of the, let's say, the corporate world too, right? It all comes back to that term sunk cost fallacy, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you put in so much money or time or effort, and then now you're like, I can't take a 180, and decide to do something else. I have to at least reach a certain point. But that point may be eating into what you could have actually spent time on.
Absolutely. So the minute you realize that this is not for you, start looking for other avenues. I mean, that's how I see. Especially if you are the kind of person who wants to make a mark.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us we are happy doing what we are doing, but then some of us want that, like, I want to be the best in whatever I do. And I realized that I won't be the best engineer.
Right.
I don't know if I'm the best radio jockey, but at least I'll try.
Right.
But then I will definitely not be the best engineer. So that is not okay for me.
That clarity is very important.
That is very, whatever you do, you have to excel. And that is not something, from the society point of view. I don't care. I just want to excel in whatever I do. Like, if it is also like something like making tea. I want to make the best tea in the world. I really want to.
I'm trying my best at the coffee thing as well, being honest.
No, at least try. No, I'm saying don't give up.
Correct.
Don't give up.
So true.
That's the whole thing. Like,
Right.
try to be the best.
Correct.
You won't be.
Yeah.
But try.
I think that journey is more important than you having to reach there.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no way you can assure yourself you're going to reach, and you don't even know what is there, right? You'll get to that point and then you'll be like, there's a bigger challenge at that point.
No, but it's never ending.
Correct.
You will have something else on your mind once you reach wherever you wanted to reach.
Correct. Yeah.
But the only thing that, for me at least, that's the drive.
Right.
I want to be the best in whatever I do.
Right. And I had a guest, I think one of the prior guests spoke about this, which is progression is something that's so inherent in humans, because everyone's looking. There's no person who will just be like, I'm done now. That's it. It's over. In the sense, there's at least one facet of your life or something that you would want to maybe take to the next level.
Sure.
A small step too.
Yeah. Otherwise it's so boring, no?
Yeah.
It's
what
so
are you doing?
Boring. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. And I think it comes down to you making a very having a firm decision and an idea of what it is you want to do, as important as you deciding what you should not be doing too.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
A lot of people think I have this idea of coming up with videos soon on our channel, which is not as part of our podcast series. And one of this main topic which I've been wanting to talk about, and I don't see a lot of Indians talking about it, is the do not do checklist.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that are just
Oh, yeah.
eating into your time,
Oh, yeah.
or just things that are just taking you away from what you
Yeah,
have
I
to
agree.
get doing. And I think you decided directly, like, any job with engineering thing is like a straight out, it's not happening.
Yeah, because there was no passion, no?
Hmm.
And you start feeling like, why am I doing this? And you don't want to realize it. I mean, you would be a fool to realize it and not act upon it,
Yeah,
right?
so true. That is so well
Yeah,
said.
yeah. So I was like, no. And maybe because I was so firm, my parents were also like, acha, okay, she knows what she's doing.
Right.
And also, no money, no. I didn't say, give me 50 lakh rupees, I will do one business. That would be little risky.
Conk in the head. What is wrong with this
What
woman?
is wrong with so and I know for a fact that my father would have done it also. I mean, like, somehow he will
Yeah,
manage.
yeah.
Not that we are rich people, but he would have managed somehow, like, because she's asked for it. But then this was risk, but not
At that level, at least.
not
right?
that kind of level. Like, you can retract yourself and do something else.
Right.
But then that risk has to be taken.
Correct. And I think, like you said, that retracting, right? You can decide to do something else, literally on the flip of a coin, and decide, yeah, okay, this didn't work, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll try something else.
Yeah,
now. It's not a big
yeah.
deal. It's
Yeah.
nothing lost. It's
Yeah.
only experience gained.
Oh
right?
yes.
Right.
Oh,
And
yes.
you will never know until you try. In
Yeah.
the sense, like, it's great. Like, for instance, a lot of people think that they want to be, let's say, a sports person.
Hmm.
Right? I say this because it's a very inherently a childlike thing that you want to be a sports person or an
Yeah,
actor,
yeah, yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
right? So it's only when you get there you realize that this part where you're being exposed to the world is just the smallest bit.
Absolutely.
Everything that goes behind the scene is ridiculous.
Is
Yeah,
a
and
lot
then
of
you'll
work.
realize, okay, this is not for me.
It's
I
not-
can't spend
Yeah.
30 hours in the gym every week.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted to have fun, basically. That has always been the thing. I want to have fun in whatever I do. Which that fun part is something that will bring the best out in me. That's what I have realized about myself.
Got it.
I don't enjoy, I can't put in my best. So hence this was the option, and luckily it worked out. Luckily, yeah.
No, we need to talk about that. Where I think you mentioned this earlier to me before we started shooting, which is putting on this whole facade of confidence, and right, because you, like you said,
All the
you
time.
didn't feel that you were meant to do this, but you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we all have that. You have to be
Reach.
honest. You have to be honest in admitting that, okay? Just because I am on public radar doesn't mean I'm a confident person.
Right.
I'm not a confident person. Okay? I cringe when I hear
Dude,
myself.
I'm going to
on
come with you for one of the next stand-ups, and you need to, like, take me up on stage and just, like, like, get me to like, face that, because this whole, I see you now on stage and you're just killing it.
No, but you don't know what happens in the green room. I am shitting bricks. I'm very underconfident. I am very underconfident. I go through self-doubt every time I go on stage. I tank so many times when I am in open mics. My jokes don't work. I come back upset. I'm like this puppy who cries and all of that. Not everybody gets to see it. My husband knows how I sulk when I don't do well. And I'm very competitive like that. Not in a way like I want to pull this person down, but I'm very competitive.
You're
I am.
comparing yourself to how you were or how you've done, and progression.
So I'm
again.
like, I've had fun. I've done a good job. I don't care.
Right.
But then when I don't, I dissect and how. Okay, so but I'm not a very confident person. So I'll tell you, in a room, if there is someone who is like, very charming, and then, everybody knows that person, and I'm somewhere in the corner and I'm probably in awe of that person, I will not walk up to that person and talk, because I'm not that confident.
Right.
I am not, I can't like, just talk like that. Hey, how are you? I can't do that. I can't do that. And you might not even believe, and you'll be like, she's fapping, but it's true. I am very bad at networking. I'm very bad at, and I know these are my I'm very much aware. Whether I want to work on it, I don't know.
That's an effort as well, right? You
That's
have to
an effort.
really, like,
if I want to
conscious
make
effort.
that effort, so I cannot make small talks. I cannot be like, hey, great weather. I can't do that. Okay, and same like before going on stage, I won't be like, I'm going to kill it today. I can't.
I can see myself walking out with a trophy and
I
shit.
cannot. Maybe in my head I want to, but then I'm extremely nervous before going on stage every time. I'm extremely nervous before going on air every time. You will not see it. You will not see
And
it.
I
also.
don't, and that I think is important, right? Like you said, putting on that facade to some extent is so important, because that might I think you mentioned that people don't come to your rescue when
No,
you.
not at all. So I'll tell you, this is the trick that works for me. Okay, when
Thank you, wait, I'll make notes.
No, but this I don't know if everybody. I'll tell you what I did. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm very nervous before any show, and this was our stand-up show that was being recorded or something like that for YouTube, and we have other friends who are performing. We are a collective, right? So I have my other friends who are performing with me, and they are like, so we are so nervous, and how they introduce me is that, she's a digital creator, RJ, like that. One little build-up is there, and when these friends of mine said we are very nervous, I was like, see, max to max, you're going to tank. I have a reputation to live up to. You don't. And even now, when I meet now, he's like, I will never forget what you said. But it was my guard to hide my underconfidence. I become a bitch when I am underconfident to others. Okay? So people who know me. Otherwise, they'll be like, look at her. So much attitude she has. But no, I just become, because that's for me to guard myself. Like, look, I'm so confident.
You're saying this for yourself.
For myself.
Right.
It's all for myself. But I'm not the confident one. Yeah.
Makes sense now. Next time I'm doing something, just like use your tips and tricks.
Yeah. Like, so so you try, and it's trial and error, basically.
Right.
What works now will not work tomorrow. So keep trying. That's all. What
Right.
else? What else? What other choice do you have?
Right. So how did you actually do that? How did this transition happen from you being this person, this introvertish person who just, I don't even want to say introvertish, just not
No.
liking people or wanting to interact as
Yeah,
such,
yeah.
to becoming, moving to being a producer, to a host, a jockey, and then also going up on stage and, prior to being what a B to others. How did that happen?
No, I'll tell you. So this is how I have been. All my life.
Always been.
Yeah. Those 4-5 years of engineering were different. That's all. But this is how I have always been.
I want to ask you actually one quick thing before you proceed. Are there classmates of yours and people from college who knew you back then and then know you for who you are now? Or are there people who still don't know that's the same girl?
I
who
have
was
not made any effort to be in touch with any of my batchmates.
Good choice, smart girl. I completely agree.
I am not going to do that. It's too much of... See, so I do get messages like, oh, we remember you and all of that. And I'm nice. I mean, it's sweet of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know how do I say this, but it's an effort now, to
Kind of
I told
keep
you,
up with
right?
that.
Small talks,
Not so much. Yeah.
because after a certain point, I lose it. And then, no, I'll be nice to you, but then where is this leading to?
Yeah. What is the actual reason?
I'm you can ask like 10 people. I'm a very friendly person only, but it's just that...
Except the time before you go up on stage, clearly.
No, please. I mean, I did this to myself, so that's how it's going to be. But then I told you, right? I'm not very... I don't know if I want to make that effort now to be in touch with people whom I have lost in touch with. I don't know if
Unless
that
there
sounds
is
right.
something that there's a reason and they're talking to you for something that mutually benefits you or something that could help, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
work-related
And something you're
mostly.
interested in or something.
work related mostly.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise it's
Not so
it's
much.
very very I don't know, it's too much of pressure, and
Yeah. So tell me, how did you finally get to be this person you are today?
So so I've never like cared about people of what I mean, I've not been a conscious person.
Got it.
If that, yeah, that's how I'd like to put it. Never been, array, what they will say, what they. So always been like that. I've been quite loud. I've been quite, like out there and
Vocal,
and that.
outgoing,
Yeah. Very that kind of a person. So it has never been like it has never been a transition exactly. This is how I am. You talk to me at 1 a.m. in the morning, I'll be like this. You talk to me at 7 a.m. in the morning, I will be like this. This is how I am. So there is no facade this way.
Yeah.
Only when I have to perform, that gives me jitters.
Yeah.
That gives
I
me
mean,
jitters.
just like anyone else, right? I don't think
But I have seen a lot of people
I know
who are
that's-
very confident. Maybe they are also doing the same thing that I am doing. I would never know.
Correct.
But
No, I think, see, there are two things to this. Either you are born that way, in a way that, you just have the knack for it, or you over time build up that confidence by doing different gigs, and then, you have so
Yeah.
many things under your belt, and then you're like, I killed it there. I think I can easily kill it here.
no, but also I think the confidence that max to max you will suck.
Exactly. And tomorrow you'll have another show.
Another
Yeah,
show. So
yeah.
that's the thing. So
Right.
the fear of failure is not there now.
Got it.
I don't.
You're way past that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I never. No. I had. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had. But I'm way.
Yeah.
I have passed that point.
Right.
Do I look forward to a failure? No, definitely
who
not.
does?
Yeah, but then I can overcome. It'll take me 2-3 days
Yeah.
after a bad show.
The sulking bit you were talking.
But that nobody will know. That nobody will know.
I will talk to your husband and-
Yeah. Oh, he has to go through so much. Poor guy. I sulk. I'm like, she, what I did. And then in the middle of eating, I'll be like, because what I did, I'll remember and what I did. So this is a process. And somehow I have come to terms with it that this is how it is going to be.
Right, but how did you actually do? How did you get to being the host or the jockey? Because, like you said, you initially you were like, I'd love to be there. I see myself being there, but how do you?
No. So I'll tell you, when I started radio, it was full of very talented people, like so talented, and I was like, I don't fit here. They are very good at what they do. I don't know what do I have for myself? I mean, like it was a complete lineup,
Here's my engineering degree. Please, like.
No, but I'll tell you, most of the radio jockeys are engineers. I'll
Makes
tell you.
sense, right?
Yeah, because we are bored. Like
Yeah.
that. So I was like, they're so good. Where do I see myself? I mean, like, it will be so arrogant of me to even ask for something in this lineup, was my thought, which was true actually, because they were very good. And then I was producer, I was producing, I was happy. And every time, like, the jock wanted me to be a part of something, she used to call me. And then I was happy being a bouncing board on the show.
Got it.
Then little attention I started getting, oh, she sounds so good. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, she's so funny. And then I was like, okay, this is nice. And that gave me confidence. Validation, no, yeah. That gives you a lot of confidence. Then I was like, but then little confidence had come. I was like, if somebody is not present at work, somebody is on leave, maybe can I do the show kind of a thing. But then my boss was like, no, you take some more time.
Please produce.
You please do pilot links and then we will see, huh? So, but I really have to thank, because going on air shouldn't be that easy.
Correct. Right.
I don't know how this comes across, because what happens when you immediately get what you want, no? You stop getting better.
Yeah.
You stop getting better.
Correct. It goes to your head and you think you have reached it.
Yeah. So I was like, so he was like, pilot karo, do pilots and all. I was doing. And then one fine day on a Saturday when I was, and it's a tough job. We didn't have holidays. I used to be at the radio station by 6 in the morning. I used to wake up at 3 if I had to wash my hair. So you can imagine. And I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not cribbing here, but it was a very, very, very
This is a different kind of a schedule
And I used to
altogether.
take BMTC bus.
Right.
Yeah, those were the struggling days, like, I mean, how else will you go from
Correct.
North Bangalore to Marthalli?
Yeah.
How?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the bus conductors knew I'll sleep off. He used to wake me up, poor thing, like your stop has come and all of that. They've been very sweet people.
Right.
And so that, what happened was on a Saturday I was working and Danish was doing a Saturday show He didn't turn up for some reason. Thank you so much.
Danish.
Yeah, he didn't turn up. He was not answering his calls also. And then my boss is like, who is at the radio station? I'm like, oh, nobody is there. I'm working. He's like, will you do the show?
But what about pilot links?
I'm like, what? Oh, I was so excited. I called my mother. I'm like, I'll be on air. You catch me on air.
And this is a live link and everything.
Live. But then, it's not, being on air was not new to me because I was going with my job as I told you, right? But doing a show by myself, handling that console, having things for yourself and playing around with the faders and all.
Like DJ.
It's like so exciting. This is the engineering.
Yeah.
This is engineering. So I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm so excited. I was so excited to be on air. I was so excited to be on air. It gave me so much of happiness.
You called Danish and said thank you.
No, I didn't. I mean, like...
It's okay, man. Just stay wherever you are.
No, he was like... No, but he was sweet. He came, Baba, I heard you did the show. So proud of you. I'm like, you tell me next time when you're not coming. But really, some things just happened, no? So it was great. So I went on air.
But one quick question. I mean, this is a personal question more than anything. But
Yeah.
how does that work where you have someone who has a recurring slot, right? And that person doesn't turn up. So when you step in, do you say that, hey, it's Sonu stepping in for...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to do that. Like, because...
People are probably waiting for Danish or,
Of course. And so I was like, I'm filling in for this person. I'll tell you, I was so happy. I went and had 3 scoops of Naturals ice cream after that show. Because I was so happy, there's that... And finally this is happening. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And then like some people whom I knew, like, yeah, I heard you on air. So, but then... After you do this, it's not necessary that you will go on air. You don't know when you're going on air again, no?
So let's make the most of it.
Then I started praying ki koi to resign kar do bhai, please. I want one show. Please leave. Somebody please leave. But then I started doing the weekend show. That's how it is for most of the jocks. They start doing the weekend show. And then luckily one person resigned from the afternoon slot. Again, I have to thank
All
that
your
person.
pujas and prayers and everything.
But still, my boss, no, you do pilots.
Pilots.
I have been on air. No, and then finally, he had picked up someone else to do the show temporarily.
Okay.
So, and the show was starting at 2. And at 1:50, I barged in my super boss's cabin and I said, I'm going to do this.
Oh.
I want to go on air.
Wow.
If I'm not good, you
Are
tell
you
me.
serious?
Yeah. I was upset. I was crying and all of that. All of that happened. Like, why can't they give me a chance? I'm here only, home talent. Why you want to hire someone? And whenever somebody used to come for that RJ vacant position interview, I was like, why is she coming? She already has a job, no? I want to be on air. Why she's already on air? Why she wants to come here? That kind of... I was so upset. And then at 1:50, I went and told, I'm going on air. And if I'm not good, you can take me off. But then give me that 1 month chance.
And you had already kind of developed that confidence and you felt that it's now or never. You just have to do it.
Yeah. And also I was like, now who will resign after this person? I didn't see anybody else resigning. When I will get my chance. So I'm like, I have to go now. I have to be on air now. Enough.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like, after so long, one person has resigned. Then who will leave? It was a good job, good paying. Everything was fine. Who will leave? So I was like, no, this has to work. Then they were like, Arey, but if we hire someone, we don't want you to be upset. I'm like, whoa, that we will see. How can I say I won't be upset?
Yeah.
But give me a chance at least. So they gave. They were nice. But I'm very happy this happened because, it was not easy for me. It was not easy to go on air. It was not like, today you do this.
Yeah.
It was not like that.
I was born to do this, guys.
No, it was not. So I'm happy about the fact that it's not that I don't think they didn't have confidence in me. Probably I look at it like they wanted me to get better. That's how I look at it. But honestly, because I share such good relationship with all of them now, so I have to thank them. Because they.
So there was support, definitely, right?
Not in an obvious way.
Correct. But there was some.
There was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look back, this is support, right?
Correct.
I mean, when you're so raw and you go on air, people find out, right?
Correct.
I mean, even if you're trained, you goof up on air.
Right.
If you're not trained, then what?
Gone case.
Yeah. Then so it's been good. It's been great.
Yeah. I think it's so important for like, especially with something that you want to develop into a hobby or even a passion or anything, right? Let's take, for instance, you're playing table tennis.
Yeah.
If you suck at the game and you're constantly going every day and you're just getting beat and you're not able to keep up with others,
Yeah.
you'll eventually give up, and that's where habit forming and all of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things
yeah,
come into
yeah.
picture,
Yeah.
right? So with this as well, you knew there's so much room to grow,
Yeah.
but at the same time not too bad. So like slowly inch and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
grow,
yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
always something to develop and improve on.
Because I knew that whatever behind the scenes training I had to get, I had got it. I
Right.
had it. Now the training, it's a lot of self-learning now.
Correct.
And for that, I have to go on
Literally
air. Otherwise, I
hands-on
will
job.
not know. Yeah. Pilot is not the same as doing a live
him
link.
that.
No. He knew.
Yeah, of course.
Just that, see, when they know, I mean, I look at it as like he wanted probably me to push myself. Sometimes otherwise you won't, right?
Correct.
Maybe.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so finally you got there, and
I got there.
and then the 1 month went by and you were good to go.
No, then people stopped coming for interviews for that slot. So I was like,
wow.
okay.
Like you went and
Okay,
locked
why
their
nobody
house.
is coming for interview? You're not going to hire?
You like went and punctured their tire.
No, they stopped coming. They stopped
right.
coming.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And then finally my boss very subtly, he said, okay, so there are something called sweepers in radio.
Right.
Which come in between songs. You're listening to this with so and so RJ kind of a thing. So subtly he told, get your sweeps produced. Like, I was like, so my name is going to be on the show? Like, really? Like,
You could have told me that first, congratulated me, and then told me, right?
It was not like that. It was not like that. So and then when I knew that I'm going to do the show, my boss said, so we have decided that you will do the show. Oh, okay. Okay, great.
And you're just like, yeah, okay. Thank you.
So this is how it happened. I started doing the afternoon show. It was called Bollywood Cafe. And then I started meeting all the celebs. And it was good fun.
Nice.
It was good fun. Yeah.
Nice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when did this the whole stand-up scene begin?
Again, so here also little denial was there. Hey, I can't do what they do. They're so good, sort of a thing. It's still there.
Right.
It's still there. But what happened was, I told you, right? I went on a break from.
Actually, let's talk about that first, because I think you were with radio for a couple of years. I
5
think
years.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, and then you decided that there is a lot you have uncovered and learned here. But at the same time, you need to kind of take a break and maybe
No.
retrospect or something
Actually,
of those
I'll
lines.
tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So I got married, na?
Yeah.
And we were like, you stay here. I will go to Switzerland and then study. I was like, okay, sounds okay only. Because I had not traveled much. And this whole thing of traveling the world was not on the list at all.
Right.
Like, a lot of people have that. No, I want to go backpacking. I didn't have any such thought. And my parents, being my parents, they were like, okay, you decide for yourself. But in their heart of hearts, like, they've just gotten married. Why wouldn't they want to spend some time together? And, probably because, I had known him for a year. That's it. And that's the time when you are at your best, right? So you don't know how bad you could be. So I had not seen the bad side of my husband. But then he was like, yeah, don't leave. And then he was always like, I'll feel very guilty if you leave for me.
Yeah.
But then I thought, like, I'll be so stupid not to go and live in Switzerland. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, it's like people, like, holidaying there is so expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting to live there
Right.
for like a year and a half. Okay, like, I will be so stupid not to do this. And by that, then also, like, I think I was too much in love with my husband. And that thought of not being with him was little sometimes coming in between when I was working. And then one of my friends was like, you're mad, no? Like, you will not go to Switzerland. And then I'm like, okay. And again, my decisions have always been like impulse.
Spontaneous.
I'm like, chalo, resign.
Yeah.
Chalo, we will go. My boss was like, do long distance marriage. No? I'm like, oh, I
I'll do
wish.
long distance production.
Yeah, I said I can host the show from there if you're okay. But luckily, unluckily, that time nobody knew that radio could be done from home. Thanks Corona for that.
COVID.
Yeah. So I went. I went and I was very happy.
Right.
I was like, what more? Let's see.
Right. And I think you also spoke about burning out and, having done this for so long as well, right?
I had FOMO. I used to take 3 days of leave and I used to be like, Hare, too much relaxation has happened now. We have to go back to work. What is this? Why are you chilling so much? And things like that. Okay. So it used to be, I used to feel very guilty about taking leave for not working, for like, I used to feel very guilty. And this is like 1.5 years of break. What am I going to do? But then I had seen, my husband talk about like, while doing his PhD, he was like traveling so much and used to take break. Like, itna break lete ho? When do you study actually?
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Like that kind of
This is
a
what
thing.
PhD involves you doing.
Yeah. So this was the thing. But then I was like, I didn't even know what I'm going to do. Yeah. It was just like,
Yeah.
let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's just go. And I went and I had the best time of my
For
life.
sure. Yeah.
We lived in a small village in Switzerland, which was beautiful. I could hear myself breathe. It was that quiet, And I learned a new language little bit. Like, it was it was the French part of Switzerland. So I learned French. I used to go to these farmers market and
Wow.
pick up these organic things and cook, and it was good fun. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
And that was the time I started consuming a lot of stand-up comedy. I have seen French stand-up comedy live.
Are you
without
serious?
understand.
And just laughing at everyone.
No, I'm not even laughing. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, on stage, what are the things that they're doing?
You're one of those people in the audience then. Oh, we have that lady there
Who
who's
doesn't
like...
laugh? Yeah, because she doesn't get. But then this thing called Montreux Comedy Festival is very popular. Yeah, Aditi Mittal has performed there and all of that. And there used to be very few English comics.
Right.
And then I consumed so much comedy. And then I started doing something online and in my dialect. I'm from North Karnataka, so I started doing videos in my dialect, which I never thought I would do. But it
And
was
where were you publishing this?
Facebook.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. My first video, in 2 days, it hit like 1 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And everybody's like, wow, I didn't even know what I'm going to call it, It was like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was great. So it was my observation of how Indians behave abroad and how we refuse to recognize each other. Like you're also Indian. Oh, how much money you're making that you're coming here. So we are like that, okay? We were like, but we don't feel excited seeing other Indians abroad. We are like, oh, ye bhi aa gaya yahan pe, kind
why
of.
are they
Why
here?
is this person here? How much is like, so that was a random observation I made and I just put it and people
And
were
was this on stage or was this you?
No.
Just
On Facebook. I
okay.
recorded a video.
Yeah,
and put
yeah.
it on Facebook. And everybody like and this whatever time difference now. So I woke up at 4 and just posted it.
Right.
And then I wake up and then I slept again. And then 7:30 I wake up and people are like messaging me, this is so good. I'm like, what is this? So then I started putting a video every Monday. Every
Okay,
Monday
on Facebook.
On Facebook only. And these were random observations I used to make and then just do. But then, even then, I was like, what, stand-up comedy is something else, na?
Yeah,
It's so tough. It's so tough. So I still didn't think I want to do it. Not, again, same thing. I want to do it, but I'm not confident
Whether I'll be able to actually do it. Yeah.
So that was the phase. But watching comedy helped. It helped me understand what kind of comedy I like. And what kind of comedy I would want to do. So basically, I do what I like watching.
Right. I think that's the best way to
That's
go
the
about
best.
it,
That's
right?
the best way to judge. So that's how it started. But then still, I was like, how will you tell I want to do stand-up comedy? Like, to whom will you tell? Correct.
Right. Who do you approach?
I didn't know anything. Like, I was very clueless.
But if you think about it, right, Sonu, there's a lot of overlap between jockeying and stand-up now, at least, right? You see a lot of these guys who are either veterans in radio or who are just, still with radio,
Yeah.
who are doing stand-up or
Yeah.
it comes naturally, it becomes a knack, right?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
see that? Did that help you?
I see both of them as completely different forms, actually, because in radio, you think everything is working because you're not having that instant feedback, na?
Right.
Probably a joke that you crack might be very funny for you and you still think it is funny because you don't know what your listeners think of that joke.
Right,
And
right.
it has just passed. So the listener probably won't even be listening to it with all his attention.
Got it, yeah.
But in stand-up, the feedback is instant. And no
Correct.
matter how big a digital celeb, whatever you are,
Yeah.
that doesn't guarantee that your jokes are going to work. But then what happened was, that was a time when whom I work with in my stand-up, Multibox Entertainment, they are called. So Multibox Entertainment, that time it was called Lodhan Live, and they were doing stand-up comedy in Kannada. I'm like, arey, nice. So let's go. I will come as I want to watch it. So
Uttar Kannada or just
no, Kannada.
Just
Kannada. I
Okay.
mean, it's like Indian English, British English.
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, got it.
whatever.
Yeah.
So they were like, I want to see what they do, and I was quite impressed. I was like, hey, this is nice, fresh jokes and everything. And then, but still, I was like, no.
This is after you came back from...
After I came back and I had joined Radio City.
Okay.
And then still, now I want to do something in comedy sort of a thing. But not, again, you know the problem by now. So then this person said, we have seen this person who was organizing, his name is Charan. He's like, we are organizing this. Oh, you're coming? Okay. I'm like, okay. And then suddenly next day, I get a message, we want to have a meeting with you. I'm like, what meeting now? They're like, we want to know if you are up for stand-up comedy. I'm like, ha. What are you saying?
You're coming to view as a viewer, but instead now you're being pulled in
but they
as...
were so sweet. They are so sweet. They just trusted me. That I could do something like that. I mean, like, I cannot thank them enough for the trust, because now it has become so difficult to crack in the scene.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people, you have to like do so many things to hunt for a venue, you have to sell tickets. It's too much of work that goes behind making a show, a public show.
Right.
So they were like, why don't you do? And they gave me so much time to write my jokes. They were not like sitting on my head that,
Yeah.
are you writing? They gave me a lot of time. And we did. And then I think I sucked quite a lot of times, and they were just kind enough to be like, very good.
Very, very nice.
Very good. They were they are probably the best people, honestly, in terms of encouraging, not just me. I see so many new people coming on our open mics, and they encourage everyone, which is so good, because the scene is just starting, So we need people, and it's so not fair to be limited by language when it comes to comedy, because I'm sure if given a choice, if there is a active stand-up scene in your native language, you would want to listen to it because of the references, because of the
Everything,
no?
Yeah, the culture
So,
itself. Yeah.
So we are very happy that we were part of it, and now we see it growing, because every week there are new people who want to try, and I know that we will churn some good stuff.
Yeah. I think this is so... I mean, it's been what, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years, right?
2.5 years.
And
yes.
how many shows have you done since?
I have not kept a count.
But have you done about 100 shows at least?
No, I don't
it?
think so. Yeah, we're nearing there, I think.
Okay,
Nearing there,
nice. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I think we spoke about this too just prior to the recording, which is all these things take time, right? There's no overnight success, and with whatever you plan to do, I think it took you a good, a couple of years for you to even be related to radio. Like people for you to even be recognized as a part of the radio industry. And now with your Kannada stand-up scene too, I think now after 2 years of churning out content and also being part of the stand-up scene on stage, I think that's what's finally gotten you to this point, and people can relate to that.
But then it's a process.
It doesn't end there.
It doesn't end there. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, like, you cannot take your social media success as a benchmark.
And to your head.
To your head, that's your problem, actually. Really,
It's a personal
thing. But you cannot take that so seriously, because I remember there was so much of buzz around my videos every week I used to put, but we had so much difficulty in selling tickets, and that's
the reality.
That's the reality,
Right.
I mean, just because people like watching you on your phone doesn't mean they want to watch you in
Want to
real life.
pay for you.
Want to pay. Yeah. So
yeah.
we had, oh God, the stress of selling tickets is something else.
Damn.
Every time it's like, what's the count? And then you find out ways, what do I do on social media for people to buy tickets? oh, it is hard work. It's a lot of work, and it's not just writing jokes.
Correct.
It's selling those tickets. It's
Correct.
because if you want to do this for a long time, you have to make it sustainable, right? I mean, like, we need audience, we need a house full, we need people who will pay, we need people to pay because we have to cover the cost of the venue. Sorry.
Everything, yeah.
Not that we are getting paid or anything. I mean, because we are just able to break even.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And that's how it is when you start everything, right? I mean, you're not going to make money out of it immediately.
Right.
But eventually
That's the plan.
eventually we got to a place where things started working for us monetarily also.
Right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think with all these things, right, initial, see, like, I think in one of our previous episodes, the guest spoke about how he was killing it on the sports commentary scene, and he had a lot of things happening, and he's at one of the best groups and company and the best benchmark that's possible. And then you think that, once that scene is done, you're going to get like offers left, right, and center. Things are going to like just flourish the way you had it imagined.
Yeah.
And then only to understand that 3-4 months, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And you just have to like understand that's how it works.
That's how it
it's
is.
all ebb and flows.
That is how it is. That is how it is. So after a couple of years in the industry, you realize that probably there is more than fame.
Right.
I think ultimately it boils down to what makes you happy. That's it.
Correct.
I mean, like,
Satisfaction.
yeah, satisfaction. Right. Of course, I feel happy when people recognize me on
Sure.
the road, and sometimes they recognize my mother. It's like, so my mother goes some vegetable shopping. You are her mother, no? My mother's like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's great. That's great. But then, how long is it going to last? I mean, like, I want to be relevant for
Yeah.
a long time.
And for yourself as well.
And
like
for myself, yeah. So now my expectation from what I do is very different.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's
What do you mean?
I'm not really looking for like I don't know. I mean, I just want to be proud of every joke that I crack on stage. When I look...
That is with reference to stand-up and comedy, right?
Yeah. And even on radio.
Right.
I want to be proud of when I hear, I want to be nice.
It goes back to what you said, which is you need to kind of try your best to excel.
Yeah, try. So I want like 10 years down the line, when I look back, I should still be proud of what I said and how I landed that joke and how people took. So that's what I want. So it doesn't matter if I don't have like crazy following on social media or whatever. I mean, whatever that is. Because I have realized that everything is so shaky, right? You're there here, you're not there tomorrow. And that's also one of the things that I've learned in radio from people. Like, what are the things that you shouldn't do is to take your success too seriously. I mean, what is success anyway? I mean,
exactly. Right, there's no hard and fast rule to any of this, right?
No.
And I think we mentioned this earlier, and something I constantly think about. If you're a very driven person, an ambitious person, right, the chances are you'll never be able to retire, or you'll never be able to really stop, because let's say you're churning and you're doing well.
True. Which is why I'm looking at a longer...
Playing it smart.
Yeah, I don't want to be like for example, I mean, I don't know if I can take this reference, but then there are actors who do one movie which was a super hit.
Yeah.
And then they are like...
They think that that's it. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
But then nothing works also, right? That's also there. So I'm looking at being relevant for a longer time and probably being in the scene for a longer run.
Right.
So if it means that it's not going to happen like overnight, whatever... It's fine.
It won't also, right?
But for some people, it happens also, no?
Correct. But then see how sustainability and sustenance is what we're talking about.
Yeah. So you cannot compare your life to someone else's. That's for sure. I cannot compare my life to another female stand-up comic because she might have a completely different journey. I mean, right. I just want to be happy and...
Yeah.
do things that I like doing.
I
That's
think
it.
I spoke about this to Anil too, which is the fact that everything in life is subjective. Everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
Very
Think about
true.
it, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it after I spoke to him too, which is even the laws that you have,
Yeah.
the rules, the anything is something
Exactly.
some person came up with.
Yeah.
That's that person's thought.
Yeah.
Then finally a group passed it. It became
Yeah.
a law.
Yeah.
And then the same with anything,
Exactly.
right? But and I think what I didn't mention that day is something I'd like to talk about today, which is to find the balance between that and being relative to the other person. Because like you said, at the end of the day, you're going to be compared to the other person, right? So in certain places, people are going to compare you. There's certain aspects where you need to know it for yourself
Yeah.
and be happy.
Yeah.
Right? You can't take this and say, that person is this way. I need to do exactly what that person did. And this is going to be my path.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
never going to work
No,
out
no,
that
no,
way.
no, no, no.
Right? So I think that balance between relativity and, subjectiveness is so important
yeah,
too.
yeah. But also don't be so hard on yourself also.
Yeah.
Then the maja of life just goes away. No?
Yeah, yeah.
Like allow,
Everyone's looking at that goal and they forget to enjoy
yeah, allow yourself to fail also, no? Like what's the big deal?
Yeah.
I mean, what
Yeah.
is the world going to end? Is somebody's life at stake? I mean, unless you're a doctor.
Yeah. Tell Anil this.
Yeah. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay, no? I mean, it's okay, right? If
Yeah. What's the big harm?
What's
Yeah,
the harm?
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, we all are going to die one day.
Wow.
That's the ultimate truth, right? In between whatever you do,
Yeah.
some days things don't work for you. So what?
Right.
So what? I mean,
Yeah. So not such a big deal, right? Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No. So you see, the thing is, if you make a big deal about your failure, no, then people will make a big deal about it.
Correct. Right.
If you take it lightly, then they'll be like,
Most people don't even care because they're so busy.
exactly.
leading
We are
their
so,
own life.
we are like, we are still very like, what will people say sort of a thing.
People don't.
People
give a
don't
shit.
care. Actually, it's true. It's true. People don't give a shit.
They might quickly pass a judgment, but they don't actually care.
But then what will that judgment do to you?
Correct.
Is
Nothing.
it harming you
Correct.
physically?
Because you don't care
Because you don't
about
care.
what that person.
Yeah. But maybe sometimes mentally you get a little
Absolutely.
upset,
Yeah.
but then it's okay, no?
Yeah.
It's okay. So for me, that's why stand-up is my vent. But I don't rant, but I will make sure that something that I have not liked is conveyed in my stand-up. And stand-up gives me more freedom to talk about whatever I want to
Right. Yeah.
than radio.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. I think that's a good place, Sonu, for us
Yeah.
to wrap things up.
Yeah,
And I can tell all my guests, and I it might come across like I'm fibbing and faffing, but I will have you on the show again. And the plan is probably I'll finish maybe a 50 or 100 episode, hit that
Episodes?
mark.
Yeah.
And then we'll have everyone again. Then we'll talk about how the journeys have changed at that
No,
point.
then I will have something different to say, and people will be like, "Arey, what split personality
know.
this girl is."
I was going to say that, see, you moved from engineering to radio to stand-up, or rather you're doing both of these together. Tomorrow there could be something else. Who knows? You'd
Yeah.
start reading up on something and then you realize I want to leave a mark here too.
Yeah.
And then that becomes, there's nothing wrong there. right?
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Like, I believe in entropy as much as possible. See, now the engineer is speaking, no? Like this, how terms are coming out. No, but I really feel you should do whatever you feel like.
Right.
Unless it is harming someone.
Right.
I totally believe that.
Including yourself.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
harm
yeah.
yourself.
No, don't harm yourself. Don't harm others. Don't harm the environment.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Whatever makes you happy. For me, that's always been my thing. I want to be happy doing whatever I do. That's
Right.
it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what's the one last message you have for people, but that's a good.
But also, I want to say I prepared this. Yeah, I will say this, okay? Because I knew that you will ask, so I will say, don't be happy with mediocrity.
Yeah. So true.
We are so happy with mediocrity. Like
Don't
we are happy.
strive for more, you're saying.
Yeah, please. Because, in terms of everything, first idea that comes to your mind, you're like, "Arey, this is amazing." How?
So true.
Think, no? Like, little bit more. Like, why settle?
Yeah.
Oh, this is not a product placement.
Yeah.
Never settle. No. But I'm saying like, don't be happy with mediocrity, because at least in art form, no, we are very happy with mediocrity.
Right.
You know, it's like our we have to strive to get better. Everything.
Yeah, and especially from your own eyes, right? I mean, when you know that you're doing this at this level and you have a vision for yourself, ensure that vision is something that's challenging and gets you to that level.
I
So
mean,
true.
Actually, in this, people are not involved only. It is
Correct.
just you and that thing. That's all.
You and the craft.
You
or
and
whatever.
the craft. That's all. Yeah.
Perfect. So that's you're well prepared, Sona. I'm like hats off to you.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
No, but I have been dying to talk about mediocrity. That's one full podcast only. That's one full podcast only. on mediocrity, we will speak for hours together. Because this is what my friends and me do, no? We are like, chi. This could have been, I mean, we are like that, okay? Little critical only. This could have been better. But then the good part is, I'll come out clean. I am critical about myself also.
Right.
So it's not that...
I mean, we spoke about that anyway,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You and your sulking and
Jeez, let's not even go there. Gosh.
And yeah, if you had to send people online, where can they find your work?
On YouTube, there are my stand-up videos on Tarlebox YouTube channel.
Tarlebox. That sounds nice.
Tarlebox YouTube channel. We have put up videos, and they can follow me on Instagram also, where I put up content whenever I feel like.
Dude, that's some crazy content. I was watching some of them.
I'll tell you, because of this daughter of mine, no, I have stopped being regular.
Okay.
She keeps me busy, no? I
Yeah.
mean, not that I'm cribbing. Now people are like, how can you? No. I love her. It's just that, I've been busy doing something like personal life.
Yeah.
I want to focus there. So it's
But
been
you have
little-
so much already put out there, so people have enough to,
Yeah, please watch old videos.
Yeah.
Please watch old videos. But I'm trying. I'll see what I can do. Because every week I start with, this week, no, man, every video I'm going to kill it. I start like that, but then on Friday will come, arey, kuch nahi kiya.
The kid will be laughing there. I'll show you.
Yeah, no, but honestly, it's not her.
Yeah.
In my mind, no, I have to. Yeah.
It'll take some time,
It
but
will
I'm
take
sure.
some time, yeah. Because every day she's doing something new. So I'm like, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to. So that's the zone
That's
I'm
so
in.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
important.
maybe I will. And I don't want to make content with her also.
Yeah.
That's also-
That also we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll talk about all of this.
Yeah, next
But
episode.
Yeah, for next.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
Perfect, Sonu.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
for having me. It was good fun.
This
I
is
enjoyed
awesome
so
stuff.
much. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I'm so glad that you could take some time out to, shoot this.
No, my pleasure.
Really
please.
grateful. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
What did I tell you about the episode? So true, right? She's such a powerhouse, and I had such a fun time and a blast shooting this one with Sonu. If you did have a good time watching or listening to this one, then hit that like button and show the YouTube algorithm what's up. And while you're at it, do subscribe if you haven't already. If you are listening to this over audio though, there are a couple of things that you can do to support the show, and it only takes a few seconds. You could either leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts if you have an Apple device. It really helps get the word out there with the algorithm. If not, you can simply just share this with your family and friends through Instagram stories or WhatsApp statuses. I guess this is a simple way to get the show in front of other people and benefit and help them in their journey too. Talking about Instagram, we have an Instagram superstar on the show next week. It's a conversation that you don't want to miss. But yeah, until then, have a great week and stay at it. Ciao.